Hello everybody. Let me just turn on my little light. There we go. Oh, move my camera. First thing. Like an expert. Okie dokie. Gonna give everybody a few minutes to get in here. Ouch. I'm trying to sit crisscross applesauce in my chair and it's just rolling me all over the place. Okay. Today I'm gonna make like a giant hood, which everybody who's been watching so far already knows, but it's always good to reiterate. I was gonna start with just 3 yarns. This one, which is Lionheart. Lionheart. I believe that this is Lion brand, the wool Thick and Quick, and I lost the packaging for it, but I believe that the color lot is Astroland. This Bernat Velvet and this Lion brand Mandala, but I also have this, and I can't remember what the color is, but I know that it's Red Heart. And then I also have this Super Saver from Red Heart. And what is this one called? This one is the Starburst print. So I'm gonna try and use all of these to make a very large hood. And I'm thinking I'm going to start my first row probably with this wool. Just to make sure that, like, when I make it, it's gonna start off as a giant rectangle, and to make it even, I think that when you start with the bigger yarns, it keeps it from pulling into a U shape. And I'm using a 6mm hook. Let me just find where, I don't know if this is center pull or not. Here's a piece of, yeah it is. It's center pull. Wait, no, never not. It's not. I thought it was. That is fine. I'm gonna start by making a slip knot, and the way I do it left-handed, which I demonstrate this every time just for simplicity, is I drape my yarn over, and so that the short tail is facing me, I cross them so that it goes to the back, and then I pinch it. I loop back over and I push this yarn into that pinch and I hold it. I pull the back yarn over the front yarn and I make sure that this front yarn stays, and then I pull, and that makes my loop. And I tighten it like that. Now the way that I make a hood, like if you want to make it like a custom size just for you, is basically how I do it. Good morning, Freya. I love the white too. It is pure velvet, and it is soft and squishy, and it is very, very bright, and I'm super excited for it. I'm really excited to get to use it just because of how it feels. I'm gonna chain 30 and see how I feel with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I think I'm probably gonna make it 40, because the way that I measure it is I make a chain and then I kind of drape it over my own head, and with in mind that this chain will get stretched out wider, I like it to go fully over my head so that I can guarantee that it will be the jumbo size that I like, and then it basically stretches itself as you work into the chain. See, the sound alerts are working, Patrick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That makes it 40. This is kind of tight because of the hook I'm using and the thickness of this yarn, but we're gonna go ahead and add 10 more just so that personally that I feel safe. And if it's too big, I'll go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe that will make it way too big, but we will figure it out. It'll be cool. So now that I have my starting chain, I'm going to be doing...
Hello there.
Oh, hello there. Mostly I'm going to be doing half double crochets. I'm going to chain 2 for my turning chain, and then to do a half double crochet I am going to yarn over and go into the third from the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop so that there's 3 on my hook, yarn over one more time, and then pull through all 3, and that is my stitch. I am left-handed. You should watch me use scissors sometime. It's really, really bad. And I'm going to continue doing half doubles all the way across my chain until the end. Once I'm finished with this row, oh, I didn't know that you were, are you lefty too? Oh gosh, go into the stitch, dang. I made this chain a little bit tighter than I wanted, but ultimately that's not going to be a problem. Once I finish this row, the chain row is always a little bit tighter. Whenever I do it anyway, it is. Oh, okay, just me and Papa. My brother is also left-handed, which I always thought was interesting. I think that it's easy for people to miss that a lot of us are lefties just because we are essentially, like, even if we're not taught that we need to do things right-handed, some things it's just easier to learn right-handed than it is to acquire the supplies to learn it left-handed in the first place. Like, I've been using my computer mouse left-handed or right-handed for so long that if I were to use left-handed settings, it probably wouldn't work out very well. I'd probably be really bad at it. When I took guitar lessons, I was learning right-handed and left-handed, and I can tell you that for a lefty, like, most of the time, it is considered a bit easier to learn right-handed, just because, what did my instructor say? I was 14, it was so long ago. Basically, you just can initially control the strings a little bit differently, and a lot of lefties pick up right-handed guitar very fast. I was trying to learn both, so I learned barely anything because I wanted to learn fast, but I also wanted to learn left-handed because not many people do that. And now I play nothing. I still have my guitars though. I think about practicing with them sometimes, but I no longer have an amp. And if I can't ruin my neighbor's day, then what's the point, really? You have a mysterious crystal? Oh, like for the Pokemon game? That's neat. I know the other day in your stream, Bob got a shiny Pokemon. I don't remember what kind it was, but it could be from that. It's not important that you randomly stretch your yarn. I just stop and do it because I like to keep it straight, and for me that's just part of what I do throughout the project. But also different textures of yarn stretch differently, and it's a little bit fun to do, and now it's basically a habit. So I will just periodically like stop and stretch the yarn, and I've never been told in an instruction or anything like that I need to do that. If anyone's gonna try and like follow along or anything, you don't have to stretch your yarn as you go. I just like to do it. Never worked with wool before, so this is a little bit slow going. I kind of expected that it would be a little bit different than usual because it's so fluffy and extra fibrous, so it kind of clings to itself a little bit. But I like it so far. It looks really nice, I think. It probably also doesn't help that I'm using my biggest hook, and I wanted to have, like, this is the size that I wanted anyway, but this yarn I'm using a 6 and the hook recommended size was a 9, so that could also be part of the reason why it's feeling tight. But ultimately I think that it'll make it stiff and give the hood a bit of structure. So that's all good. So basically, these stitches in the chain is on the very bottom and it is kind of stretched out now. And it's pretty much like exactly the size that I thought it was going to be, which is good for the hood. I usually guesstimate a little bit, to be completely honest. I'll go in. There we go. Good morning, Bob. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, go into the stitch, please. Come on, wool. We did it. It's good to hear. Oh, smacked my microphone. Phew. We are at the end of row 1. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this tail and pull it through. Oh yeah, you weren't here a minute ago. I'm working on the big hood, giant hood idea that I think originally Sinichu brought it up. So I'm gonna make one today because I've made a few of them before. That seemed really fun. Plus, they're very easy to make, and a lot of people who make and sell patterns have made them, and sometimes their prices are very outrageous considering they are all constructed pretty much, most of them are constructed out of a rectangle. So I just wanted to do like a demonstration of how one could make something like that on your own. And I was just going to do these 3 yarns at first. I think I showed them last stream, but then I decided to also add this one and this one so that it would have a lot more variations in it. And actually, I've got this one down. I think I'm gonna go into the velvet, and the way that I kind of do this, well, this is how I did it last time, and I'm gonna try it again, is I never actually cut or detached any of the yarn. I just added as I went and dropped and picked up my threads as I was going. So how did I do that? I'm gonna loop this over, I'm gonna pull it through, and then I'm gonna do this. I think this is how I did it. So my long tail for the wool is here, and I've got the short tail as well, and I'm gonna weave it in as I go, and that will keep it tight and attached to the project. So since I'm doing half doubles, I hold the yarn over, I go in, I pull up a loop that includes the long part and the tail, I yarn over again, and I pull through all of them. And now the tail is wrapped up in that first stitch. So then I just continue with the yarn over, pull through, and pull through 3. I'm going to continue this the whole length. And you can see where I dropped the tail. And then when I come back around, eventually when I need this, I will just grab it up from the side and loop it back in. And when the project is completely finished, I will go around the sides to make sure that the parts that I pulled along the edges are secure, and that'll pretty much take care of it, though I doubt we will get to that part today. These aren't the longest projects in the world, but they do take time still. I think where we really lucked out today with the stream is right before I started, there were people outside at the little monument, and they were doing yard work and mowing and had leaf blowers out and stuff, and it quit right about the time I started my stream. So that was pretty cool. This velvet looks really good. It looks very fluffy when it's all in stitches, which I was kind of expecting, but it's like even puffier than I thought. I really like crocheting with it too. It's super smooth. This is my first time doing velvet and wool. Stretch the yarn. Also, if like the street traffic gets really loud or anything, like I can hear trucks and stuff outside, I have the AC off so that that wasn't rattling in the background. But I also opened the window so that I could get some airflow. So if that gets too loud, feel free to let me know. Hopefully it isn't. It also isn't a super busy part of the day for our street though, so hopefully things will be okay. Okay, so I've reached the end of row 2, and I'm going to add, I'm gonna start with this, but because it is so much smaller than both of these, I'm gonna go ahead and pair it up with this, and I'm gonna hold them both at the same time throughout this row. And holding different yarns together and stuff like that is how a lot of these projects come to look very complicated, when in reality a lot of them are not. So that's like a very easy and quick trick for anybody who wants to make their stuff look a little bit fancier, is holding different yarns together paired with thicker yarns. That 100% makes stuff look really cool. Okay. Holding yarns together is also how it starts to get complicated, though. I have to move my velvet out of the way so that I don't tangle it all up with these other tails that I have. There we go. And since I made these tails a little bit longer than I did my velvet, I'm just going to continue along the row, holding these in the middle, and they will eventually get tucked all the way inside really neatly. And now they're all tucked inside, and you can already see how many colors are coming through just in this singular project. There's gonna be so many different, honestly, there's so many types of purple that's gonna be going on. Because this, the camera's not quite perfect, but there's a lot of purple in that as well. And there's a lot of fluff. A lot of spare fluff floating around the desk today. You really should smash some small food before you head out. This morning I had like 6 s'mores Oreos because I wasn't super hungry, but I still wanted to eat a little something before stream. Not gonna lie, they really hit the spot. Okay, I'm at the end of another row. And I think I'm only gonna drop one of these 2 threads, and I'm gonna pick up this one. I think I'm gonna drop this super rainbowy one so that I get a little more contrast. So I'm gonna pick up this. I'm gonna hold this on here. Gonna wrap this around. Hold it tightly and just continue on. It does get a little bit confusing when you carry all of your yarns around the project, especially if you're new. It was really hard for me to keep them all straight, but ultimately it is really nice to just pick up a different strand or leave it whenever you feel like. And because this yarn is so much darker, we're already getting a lot of nice contrast. Thank you. I think it looks pretty decent. I think I also honestly, I really like the color palette that I went for with these yarns. I wasn't sure about it at first, in the store. I was basically bringing yarn up to Patrick and being like, this one or this one? This one or this one? Which of these looks the coolest? The white looks really good. That's just gonna be it's gonna be such a good pop throughout the piece. And if you're wondering why this yarn looked like it's falling apart, I had it sitting safely on my desk, and for some reason the cat decided that out of nowhere he wanted to chew on one end of it, and it got a little messed up. Conveniently, he chose to do that when I was building a house in The Sims as well, so I really think his motivation was to get my attention. But not the type of attention that suggests he would like me to pet him, just the type that suggests he wants me to watch him be bad. So that's why my yarn's a little bit weird sometimes. He's being really good right now, though. He's been sitting in front of the window just listening to the birds all morning. Probably helps that he can smell the smoker going outside, too. Okie dokie. Oh, Stubby, good morning. How are you today? I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling much better this Friday than I was last Friday. To be sure, I actually managed to get a decent amount of sleep last night. I followed Sai's advice of taking a shower before bed to try and relax because for some reason I can't always relax before bed, and it did help a lot. Phew. That is the end of row 5? Yeah, row 5. We were at row 5. Let's see. Which yarn? I think I'm gonna pick up this velvet again before going back to the wool. Oh gosh, let me straighten it all out. My tails are going everywhere. There we go. The more I use this velvet yarn, the more I wish velvet yarn was cheaper. Not that I don't think it's worth the price, because I do, but also, dang, it is so soft that I just want to buy a million balls of velvet yarn. This is amazing. I have quite a few that are, they're black velvet, and they're really pretty. I was gonna make a giant comforter, like, throw thing for our bed, and the contrast color I wanted with the black, I forget what it's called, it was not quite red, but not really pink, and it's never in stock. I can't find it anywhere. So we've been looking for a good secondary color, but whenever we find one we like, there's not really enough of it in stock to justify buying it, just in case we can't find it again, because some of the colors just go way faster than others. The good thing about having a lot of the black, though, is that when we do figure out what contrast color we want, it'll automatically match. hopefully it's fine. Hopefully, yeah, especially because it is a little damp outside. It's not really like too dry or anything. Hopefully the smoker is all good. Something that I kind of want to try one day. Those are live birds. I have the window open for airflow so that the AC isn't rattling in the back, and there's a bunch of birds out there. I'm surprised you don't also like hear Merlin chirping. At some point we might, because he loves to make chirpy noises at the birds. Mostly because he wants to kill them to death, but you know what? It's cute from inside. It also helps because I don't know, I haven't figured out if I want to do like ambient music, and I don't really know how to do that. I know that Sai could help me very easily, but I get kind of overwhelmed with technology sometimes. As much as I use the internet every single day, sometimes setting things up like that stresses me out, so I just haven't done it yet. A few people said that they kind of like not the music because it's like relaxing, so I'm not too worried about it right now. Good morning, Sinichu. Hope you're doing good today. This is what I have so far of our hood. Oh gosh. Keep moving it up instead of sideways. There's 5 yarns in here so far. And I've got all of my yarns tangled up. This goes here. Oops. The wool needs to come... Okay. I see what I've done. This just needs to come this way because I'm going to use it next. So this will be the farthest distance that I pull up the yarn, and this is why I will go around the edge at the end. I'm just going to grab it and pull it through without pulling too tightly so that it doesn't bunch this all the way up. God, that startled me. There we go. I love that song. It's a bop. Phew, we love some hobbits. Also, I hear that through my speakers. Does it echo through and like double play it? I have no idea. I just now realized that I heard it through my speakers like very loud. Well, I'm glad that, like, I wasn't maybe the only one who was startled then. The best part about that being loud is whenever I got on, it told me that my sounds weren't on, like they weren't working. And then I was like, Patrick, my sounds aren't working. And he was like, I told you how to reset it. And I was like, yeah, but, see, I'm dumb and I forgot. And then he looked at it and he was like, oh, I don't even see them in your scenes. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine. I just won't play with sounds today. It won't be a big deal. And, and the sounds are working absolutely fine, even though it told me they weren't. So I don't know what's up with that. It just decides how it feels about the sounds, I guess. This yarn I really like it. I don't know how good it would be in a blanket, because maybe it's because it's warm outside, but this is like just straight up wool.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. Fed them to tigers, they snacking. What's happening? Carol Baskin.
Congrats on making it to therapy. I also don't know, like, I went through some of the sounds that you can use, and I don't know how I managed to find that and The Hobbits within 5 minutes of each other, but I was so pumped for those two little songs. So, I actually witnessed the Tiger King in real life before. He came to a local festival with some baby tigers one year when I was a teenager. And those tigers were definitely on sedatives. Like, people are like, have you heard of the Tiger King? And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of that weird, crazy guy. I saw him at the Harvest Fest. And they're like, when? And I'm like, 2000 and something. He was just out there like that the whole time, really. I don't think people really realized anything about it just because of the excitement of, like, seeing real tigers, but it was weird. There was also a man that same year walking, I assume he was, like, with the Tiger King, he was walking around with a wallaby, and that was interesting and kind of cool. But, like, he was actually just there, like, hanging out with one. The things you see at the street fair, I swear. Madness. Oh, don't roll all the way away. Phew. There's another row. This looks really good. Like, not even trying to toot my own horn. This looks really good, though. Okay. I'm going to untangle these yarns, first of all. But I think I'm going to drop the darker one and go back to the rainbowy one. This one. Wait, this one. Just so that there is a bit of a pattern going on. Keeping the yarn straight is honestly the hardest part of the method, where you just kind of don't trim the yarn as you go and just keep carrying it. But ultimately, as long as you pay attention between each row, it is It's really not that hard to pick up. I think most people could do it fairly easily with just a bit of practice. Oh wait, my rainbow's at the other end? Crap. Okay, I'm gonna keep the dark one for another round and then we'll go to the rainbow. That'll be okay. It'll get there either way. Okay. And now I flip. I flip and put the project over the wool yarn. There we go. I think this is going to turn out very, very cool. Anytime I get to use more than one type of like texture of a yarn in a single piece, I always get very excited for it. Projects that look like they have a lot of texture to them are very fun for me. Okay, Stubby. Oop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Figure your shit out, okay? It's perfectly legal to talk to your yarn and tell it to get its shit together. It helps. Scientifically proven to help your yarn get its shit together is if you just let it know that it has to be done. That's pretty much it, Sin. And the best part is some of my yarn is in like round balls like you'd see like kittens playing with on the cartoons and on the TV. And I actually just like I just give up and let it roll around the floor and the cat plays with it sometimes. I take like if I have half, well, I'd say if I have like a fourth of a ball of yarn and I want to make it into like a round ball of yarn, I just will attach them to other types of yarn and make a big like chaotic different textured different colored like balls of yarn and make really fun little projects with those. And Merlin he loves them. The problem is he doesn't always just play with the round part of the yarn. Sometimes he'll reach up and try and grab the working part like this, because as I move it, it like flails around and he wants to eat it. Well, not really eat it. He just wants to put his drool all over it. And I'm just like, dude, I can't have this every single time. Yeah, just cat stuff. You know how it is. There we go. And now that I'm back at this side, I'm going to drop this yarn and I'm going to replace it with this yarn and then continue with this purple, currently purple strand for a little bit of consistency, but it'll basically look like these two rows, but opposite direction. Come here. I do have to have this not quite tangled up like that, though. That was a bit excessive. Right now he's lounging and just staring, so it could be anywhere from 5 minutes to a few hours, honestly. Especially if there's a squirrel out there. He will sit and watch a squirrel for probably forever. What are you doing? Come this way. I don't even know what he thinks he would do with a squirrel. Like, he's fast and he's sharp, but he's definitely not strategic. I would definitely say he's a bit of a spaz. I think the squirrel would definitely see him coming. I can smell that smoker outside, and the way that smokers smell always makes me think of like the fair and street corn and all of those really good foods, and it's just making me increasingly hungry, which is good since we're gonna be eating a lot, but like, dang, I cannot stop thinking about it. only pulled one through there. I feel like nobody's been having good luck catching Pokemon lately. I mean, aside from the shiny one caught the other day, but like generally speaking, overall, most like everybody's not been catching a whole lot lately. Yeah, probably, and I didn't look very hard, but I briefly I briefly looked around the Discord to see if there was like they were talking about it, and I thought they were at one point, but then I couldn't figure out where those messages were, or like I scrolled back looking to see if anybody was talking about it, and for the most part I didn't really see a whole lot going on. Maybe I just was looking in the wrong spot and missed it. Gotta drink coffee. But I don't know, it's kind of weird. Not that their Discord was never not weird, but I do not know. The first, like the chain, not the chain row, the second row, the first row of half double crochets that I was doing was very, very tight. But working with wool, like after that, it has been very easy. I think it's just because my chain was a bit tight because of the size hook I'm using. See, that's what I saw was there was like a vague announcement and then not a whole lot else. Like, it doesn't even seem like anybody's been asking about it. And I'm kind of wondering if that's how many people just ignore that Discord at this point. Oh, I'm making a giant hood. Sinichu put a picture of giant hood in the I don't know if it was, I think it was the Cyclops chat still. And I'd already made a few and I decided that that would be a really good thing to make on stream. Especially because people do make and sell patterns for them, but for some reason the way that they charge for giant like hood patterns, some people charge astronomically more than I feel that they should, and that's part of also why I wanted to do it on stream, was to kind of demonstrate that ultimately you can make things that look complicated that really aren't, and a lot of those patterns aren't very complicated, and I don't always know that the price is justified. So I wanted to like kind of show that you can fairly easily make something like that with just a bit of patience. I'm a big fan of like anything you can do crafty, you can do on a budget. It's sometimes harder and sometimes it does take longer, but it can absolutely be done. And I've made 3 different ones before. 2 of them use different types of yarn like I'm doing now, and then one of them is like a giant fluffy one made out of faux fur. And I figured, you know, I've already made 3. It'd probably be okay if I did one on stream. That'd probably be cool. That's probably enough practice for it, you know. Oops. Hitting the microphone again with my bracelet. This one is going to have kitty ears. That's the only part of this project I've never made before. Which I don't think that I will get to that point today by any means. Oh god, I have to move all of this, sorry. I don't think that I will get to that point today, because these work up kind of fast, but not quite that fast. I would have to stream longer than is reasonable, especially since it's Sai's birthday. But I don't think that making the ears will be very difficult. I think attaching them to the hood would be more difficult than actually making the ears themselves. Oh gosh. This yarn is continuously still being wrapped around everything. There we go. Here we go. That's much better. We are back at the rainbows. Oh, and the purple where this one started is very quickly going to turn into pink. So that's gonna look cool. It's like almost a magenta, I want to call it. This way. There we go. Deciding whether or not I want my yarn over or under my project is essentially like how I decide if it's comfortable. If it's comfortable to sit and do it. I'm a little bit surprised that I've kept my yarn this organized this long on stream. The other times when I've had this many yarns I've had them all like on our bed pretty much as far apart from each other as possible. But this is working out pretty well. I think once I get my pen replaced for my Surface Pro, I'm gonna try and figure out how I can cast just the screen instead of trying to get the webcam to focus. And then I might do some like emote designs because I want to start making more emotes and potentially making them for other streamers, not just Cyclops Gaming, and I want to try a few different styles. And I think what I would like to do is just have a few like example packs that people could get if they wanted, like 5 different ones to choose from, or they could commission custom ones. But I think designing those packs on stream would be really cool. Like I have an idea for one that's like Like, because when I think, is it Cyclops Gaming has like 5, not including the bit ones, I think. I don't know. I might make like packs of like the 5 that you can get, and then a couple of different bit ones that you can, like, anybody could have, so multiple people could have the same pack, but unless they wanted to commission specific ones. But I would make them like very cheap, like 5 of them, like, I don't know, PayPal me $5, it's fine. I could do one that's like different words that are commonly used in chat, like, you know, like a hi emote, a raid emote, a hype emote, stuff like that. And then I thought I could do one that's like animal faces, maybe, like maybe cats or something. Those are pretty popular. Different one that's like strictly game themed, like maybe retro game versus newer game themed ones. Not specific to any game, but just like vibes of games. I don't know, I think that could be pretty fun. Plus, I didn't realize until recently that there's a whole like category of the art streaming community that does emote designing and commissions and stuff on Twitch. So that could also help me branch out a little bit. Yeah, I like pretty much any, like, animal ones are always very fun for me. I love good old animals. Some good old aminals up in here. And pretty much every streamer at some point gets one that's like a heart. I don't know, some are just very universal designs, and I think that I could showcase my style pretty well. I'd also like to try to get into other styles. Like, I think it would be cool. Like, I made a few that are in my Discord. One of them is literally just, I drew my dog. I just drew Tinker's head, but it looks really cute. I did one that looks like the energy drink can. That's the closest to, like, bit art that I've ever done, which I guess I would call that bit art, because I did it, you know, pixel by pixel, and it took a long time, but I think it looks really cool, and I think if I did a pack that looked like that, people might like it. Okay, I'm gonna add the dark yarn to this now magenta yarn. First I have to get the rainbow yarn to let go of it. Okay, there's like some stuff happening here. Okay, please don't be weird. I realize that is a lot to ask of you. Oop! I'm sorry if me stabbing my, like, my microphone is always really loud. I really do not intend to do that. What are you doing? Oh, Lord. Okay, I see what's happening, kind of. This magenta yarn is causing me some issue. It is all wrapped up right here. That's coming together though. There we go. Now I can sort of add this yarn as neatly as possible. Now I flip it, move this over here, out of the way. There we go. I don't know. Probably because it lives with me. And it learned it from me. It's a good metaphor for how together my life is. Like, it's together, but it's in a big wad. And then the velvet's not actually causing me any problems. The velvet is fine. The velvet is perfect. That is the most perfect yarn. Okay, now we can continue the row. This pink color is really popping through with this darker yarn. think there's like, I can't tell because it sounds like it's at a distance, but I think there's either a nest of birds or a nest of squirrels out there, like making strange chirp chirp noises. And Merlin he is still just parked in the window. Like, he will not move. And like usually if I say his name, like his body language suggests that he can hear me, and he cannot hear me at all. He has no idea that I'm talking about him right now. He is zoned in on some critters. Okay. Move these since I flipped my project. Oh, get out of the way. You're supposed to go down there because it's easier. Oh Lord, what am I doing? I'm moving everything the wrong way. This is how it happens. This is where it starts. Oh, I completely understand. I space so hard that sometimes Patrick gets legitimately worried. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I am miles away. I don't know." End of another row. I'm not gonna kick a break, but I am gonna run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back because I've been drinking coffee all morning. Oh, before I go, Stubby, I like these colors a lot too. I was super worried about matching them. Like, I wanted them to look different but like related, and I had like 9 different balls of yarn in the store, and I was like, okay, these two together or this one with this one. Okay, Patrick, now this one or this one. This one or this one. And also the white velvet, that was 100% his call. He was like, no, that's gonna look really, really good. So I think it would have turned out fine if I had just chosen, but I definitely did not choose alone for this palette. But I will be right back. Okay. I am back. Thank you for the welcomes back. Move these. Flip this. Move this. Okay. This one needs to go over that one. Morning, Snake. How are you? I'm doing pretty good today. This project is going really, really nicely. I've got a lot of coffee. Things are working out. I'm making one of those big hoods that, like that big fluffy hood, but just with different yarns. I know that feeling. What games were you playing? I know that Bob and Sin were doing that just the other day. Or at least that's what I heard. Playing some Stardew into the morning. I can't say that I wouldn't do that. It's like, I've only played, I want to say I only have about 6 hours in that game, but I also want to say that all of those hours were pretty much binged. I'm still really new to it, so like I have not no interaction, but I have barely any interaction with most of the people in town. I've just given a few people flowers at random, and that's been fine. And I also accidentally gave the blacksmith a geode when what I wanted was for him to break it open for me, and he just sighed about it. He didn't even like it, and then I felt bad. I was like, oh god, he hates me. I gave this blacksmith a rock and he's unimpressed. Holy shit. That is a lot of hours. It's my first time like ever making the farm or anything too, so like the way I have it set up is I just started putting stuff in the front yard at random to grow, and it looks like trash. One day I will clean it all up, but it is not today. Stardew is really good though. I like in the character creation, like the sheer amount of options you have for like your hair and your shirt and different things like that is actually very nice. I was kind of not expecting that, just because so many games are like you've got 5 options or less, and this game's like we have 1,000,000 shirts, and I'm like, nice. Yeah, and everybody gets all the options. It's just like, choose the best out of everything. It's yours, have it. Oh, I understand that 100%, Sin. I have so many hours in ESO, and I have like 3 types of characters I like to do. I try and branch out because I feel like I should try everything at least once, but it is definitely a challenge when I know what I like. Oh, my brother plays the shit out of GTA. I've never been good at that game, but I got pretty far in the story mode. It's a pretty good game overall, I think. I'm not always the best at those games because for some reason the shooting mechanic is a bit of a learning curve for me. I wasn't good at shooting in Red Dead either. It was very frustrating. Maybe I'm just not good at those games. Wow. 635. Holy shit. I can't even imagine what that would feel like. That sounds OP. Though I don't know if there's a cap in that game. Or like what the cap is. Like with ESO, like you get to level 50 and then you get champion levels. And the last time I checked the cap on that was a few years ago and it was 810. I have seen people past that now running around and I have no idea what the cap is even at. Maybe I need to play Red Dead on PC instead of PlayStation because I don't know. I think it might have been the controller. I had a lot of issues with like just doing the thing. Maybe I'll just try it on Sai's computer one day when he's not actually streaming. And we'll see how that goes. Because the game itself, like, I watched him play through most of it and I really like the story. I think that there's some good representation in it. And ultimately, like, just doing, like, the hunting challenges and different stuff like that looks pretty fun. Any game with a world that I could just go out and do whatever in for a while is a game that I usually like. Your puns should always be intended, even though I accidentally make them all the time. Whoops. Oh god, don't do this. Okay, I fixed it. I mean, that sounds like someone who's jealous. If you had absolutely no life, then how come I've seen you out having a life before? Ooh! Celine would love that. Oh gosh, let go of each other. Sorry, I'm fighting these yarns really quick. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna hold this one in my lap for a minute, and that'll be fine. The recorder version or the original version, Snake? Or the pop punk version, because there's also one of those, if you're not aware. I remember hearing it when I was on MySpace. I know it's real. Ooh, The Hobbit is a good movie. Pretty much any version of The Hobbit's a good movie. And also, I too heart MySpace. Well, not the new MySpace, because I tried to get on there, and what happened was they won't let you change your name or your gender modifiers or any of your old stuff. They just have your profile basically locked. And also, my blinkies are gone, so I got really salty about it. They basically just want you to make a new account, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Y'all took the flair away. What have you done with my blog? Where did it go? But there is a site that is, like, on the site it says it's not affiliated with MySpace in any way, and it's very basic, and, like, everyone goes there to relive their emo days from what I can gather, and it's called Space Hey, like, Hey, and I made an account, and my abilities of making a cool profile have diminished over the years, it turns out. My profile looks so bad, but I was actually very happy to make the account, even though there's not a lot going on the website as a whole, just because I was just feeling very nostalgic that day, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put this glitter blinky in my About Me and call it a fucking day. That website was so chaotic. It was so wild. Wild and free. One of the movies of The Hobbit, I believe it was either... I want to say it was in the 70s. It's like an animated movie. It's not super long. I used to love that when I was a kid. It's like, it looks... I think it was made by the same people who did, like, The Last Unicorn and, like, all of those movies, but I'm not 100% sure. But it is really good, and it's just, like, one movie, not a trilogy of movies. Wow, you're just hopping from one genre to the next, aren't you, bud? What if there was a Young, Wild, and Free and My Heart Will Go On mashup? I wonder if that would work. Rankin, yes, that is who made it. I always forget, like, the names of people and companies that make things that I like. I'm always just like, somebody made something. It's amazing. I don't know what it is. There's also some animated, I don't believe it was made by the same people, but there was some animated, like, Lord of the Rings that were cartoon, but part of it seemed like it had CGI in it, and they were kind of old, and they were really, like, visually captivating, and really, like, they were probably some of the darkest movies I saw when I was a kid, were those versions of the Lord of the Rings. I have not seen the new Rick and Morty episode yet. I've seen it advertised on streaming stuff, we haven't really had a whole lot of time. Ralph Bakshi, yes. I think, yeah. I don't know if that was, like, the artist or the director, but I know that name from somewhere related to that stuff. These was pretty cool. Oh, yeah, I'm really excited for that, too. The Scooby-Doo and Courage crossover. I'm honestly surprised that it took till now for that to happen, considering all the Scooby-Doo movies where they, like, meet the Addams Family, and they get to meet Batman, and they get to meet Phyllis Diller for some reason, and all those other things. I'm surprised that Scooby hasn't met Courage before now, but I'm glad we finally get that to happen. It makes absolute sense, you know? The gang would have to end up in nowhere eventually. Stubby, I don't care why you know these things. I just trust that it is like, it's because you know the things, you have all the answers that I need is why. You've got the good trivia. You have a very refined film palette. That sounds good. I don't smoke things, so I'm going to assume that that's the good number.
Victory screech!
There's a loud truck going by. I'm sorry if you hear that. I like how when you redeem stuff it says that it was for 0 bits. Like, of course it was for 0 bits, fam. You could just say that it was played if there was no bits involved. Were you screaming along with it? That is the best. Okay. One of my... So 2 of my yarns kind of rolled away, and they're the ones that I need. And I let it happen because they were out of the way, but whoops. Now I'm trying to remedy that. Because it's gonna get chaotic if I don't. You go over here. Okay, this isn't gonna be bad. You come back up here. And that one might just be better where it's at. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna leave that where it is. Okay. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna take the pink and the rainbow. The rainbow, which is being very loud and crinkly sounding. Oh, come on. This is the only really frustrating part about having 5 different yarns instead of what I usually do, which is 3. But ultimately, it's not the worst. I just complain a lot. It is squeaky. It's weird. There we go. Oh! Pardon me. Dropped my hook. Come back here. It's fine, we figured it out. Nobody panic. That was Sai. He sneezed. When I sneeze, it sounds like either like an explosion that for some reason ends up hurting my throat, or like a hamster has just exploded. Like squeaky pop sound. How many rows have I got? This is starting row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wow. We have made some good progress so far. I usually don't have a set amount of rows that I do. I just keep going until it feels about done. But I feel like we made some pretty good progress so far. The squeaky yarn sounds. I'm pretty sure that's because some of the yarn is acrylic. So technically it's plastic. Technically, like it's wearable and stuff like that, but I think that's part of why it's so squeaky. Squeaky yarn ASMR. Good afternoon, Quinn. Have fun working on your house, if that's possible. It has been really fun so far. My hook has only fallen completely out of the project once. Ooh, you're doing house painting. I remember that. I think you said something about that. Taping is the least fun part, but honestly, so worth it. So worth it. I've painted way too many houses. We were gonna paint our apartment when we moved in, but honestly, not worth it. Not worth even trying. I do think that I might paint our door, though. Quinn's out here never taping, just living without fear. Tape gives me like a weird sense of security. It probably doesn't help that like anyone I knew that was a contractor that said they could paint, they never taped and they were always lying about their ability to paint, and it turned out looking pretty bad. So maybe it's because I cared about my own walls enough to not mess up, like that it also just didn't look as bad. That's part of why I rely on tape, though. I've just seen so many people not do it, and then it looks, I don't know, it looks overconfident for no reason. Quinn, even if you weren't a great painter, contractors would have nothing on you. Have you ever met a contractor? I mean, I've met a few contractors that were decent, but overall, I've met more not great contractors than great ones. For some reason, like, the worst always comes out when you want your bathroom redone or your kitchen. And it's like it's always like the owner of whatever company does good work, but they always send their employees instead of themselves. And their employees just never give a shit. I'm the same way, Quinn. Like, if I'm not gonna do it to completion the correct way, then I'm just probably not gonna do it at all. Because it's just not worth doing if you don't do it all the way. You're left with a half-finished mess. That's part of why we decided ultimately that we were not gonna paint the apartment, because it was gonna be too much, especially with the high ceilings and all that. Have fun taping your walls. That was weird. Acted like it was gonna pull through and did not. There we go. I like how this wool is so, like, the way that it's just swirled up together, where you can clearly see the colors separately. I think that looks really good. Yeah, I like that too. I think it has a lot of character. I feel like it, like, especially next to the velvet, which is very shiny and sleek. I think when paired together, it gives it like a very shabby but cute kind of feel. Right, right. That's kind of has that vibe. I think it's gonna look super good with the cat ears. Ooh, grungy cute cat hood for when you're out doing Cheshire stuff with your friends. Yes. Must throw the emo on top for a splash of edge. I am too. The way that like the different yarns are changing as the piece progresses, it gets more and more vibey every time. This is part of why I like crochet so much. It's just like, yes, it's alive. Go that way. I don't know why I moved you over there, but go back. Nope. There we go. Ah! I just punched my monitor instead of the microphone. That'll teach it. I really am. Usually it's just the microphone, but today everybody's getting it. Hmm? Oh, please wrap around. Please. Oh, I keep just pulling half of my stitch through. I need to stop trying to. Don't need to rush it. do that thing where I unravel the rainbow yarn from the pink yarn again. Okay. Wow, cat just ran in here super fast. He did a big kitty zoom. Ooh, my bad. No one is safe. Attack all the things. How will they know where their place is if I don't hit them? Who needs to use their words when we have violence? The craft community especially would like some violence, I think. That's why we all use very fancy cutting tools and needles and scary hot things and paints made of chemicals. Death by art. Stubby's questioning everything now. Is it a portrait of someone's family or is it a portrait of a victim? Depending on the artist, nobody knows. Okay. Flip again. Oh shit, one of my yarns fell behind my desk. It's this one. I have to pick it up and pull it back around off the floor. Otherwise, that's just, what am I hung up on? Oh, it's not actually a tragedy. It's like behind my wires and now I have to go like extra reach behind the wires. Merlin, chill, dude. He's got so many zoomies right now. Those can be there. Okay. Now we're ready. I love it when he just runs around like crazy. Because even on the carpeted parts of our house, it sounds like a galloping horse. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk. And sometimes he will slide. That's pretty good. That's pretty much it, because as soon as he stopped running, he was back in the window looking around like he was offended. That's probably exactly what happened. I really like how right now the wool is like pink and yellow up against this other pink. That couldn't have even been planned out. That's just amazing. That's really good. Now I'm picturing Merlin zooming around with Macho Man playing in the background, and it's Yeah, I only hope that happens in real life sometime. Like, I hope that I can just sync that up to a video of him doing something wild. That would make the best video. Sometimes I will make little parodies with our pets' names in them, but I don't get through the whole song. I can only think of a few little parts of it. And one time I was doing the YMCA song and I said, Merlin, you're a cat and a man. I said Merlin. And then I just kept singing that part over. He wasn't impressed, if anyone's wondering. Stretch the yarn. Have not stretched the yarn in a minute. Pressed a button on my keyboard. Hopefully that didn't do anything. It probably didn't. Usually doesn't. I try and keep it, I have like an L-shaped desk, and I try and keep my keyboard like in the corner. And usually it is fine, but sometimes it gets bumped. depending on how much of these yarns are left after this is finished, I might have to make a second one just because of how good this looks. I think I would probably have to get more of the wool because the thicker yarns go faster. But so far that seems like it might be the only thing that I need to replace in order to like make more. Which is great because that just only leaves more options for things to do on Stream Open too. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna try and stream today, but since it is Patrick's birthday, I'm probably not gonna go longer. What time is it? 1:49? I'm probably not gonna exceed like 2:30. Though I am really impressed with how far along on this project we are. As far as the like hood part is concerned, I would say we are over halfway actually. I did not expect it to work up this fast. I attribute the speed of it on the wool for being thicker and taking up more space in the project, and therefore speeding us along. Quite a bit of progression. Get this wool moved around. Oh gosh. There we go. Oh. This has to go this way. There we go. Get back on the hook. I'm not even gonna pretend like I haven't done that, and I agree that you want to rub your face on it. It is awesome. Oh. I think I hear Mitch. Or at least Mitch's car.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. God. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. God.
Rest assured, I did not fall asleep. Not with that happening. Did you even preview it just to see? That's great. Ooh. Yeah, it's so that you feel nice and safe with it and that you get got. I mean, if you were in a situation where they were taking the hobbits to Isengard, I feel like you might freak out a little bit loudly. I would. I would be so loud about that. Isengard is just one of the last places I would prefer them to be taking my hobbits. Oh, drop my yarn. Ooh, that sounds good. Always the extended versions, every time. You need all of the extra information. Oh, I definitely agree with that. Some of the stuff just doesn't make, even with like the decent narration, some things just don't make all of the sense. And I think a lot of people do get lost. As long-winded as those movies are, there's so much reason that Tolkien was even more long-winded. And there's just so much context. Right, like her gifts all had reasons. And I know that like when they meet Shelob and stuff, like some of them you see why that they were given, but at the same time I don't know, it was just different. Ooh. I do feel like with the Hobbit movies, I'm sure some people do not. How did this happen? I'm sure some people don't necessarily feel this way, but I like how they fleshed out Radagast and let him be a character, because I think they did him very well. And I feel like it gave certain context to other parts of the lore that people might not know otherwise. But even with him, there's stuff that they added that was, like, I feel like a lot of people missed. Like, when he says that his rabbits are, like, Ruscabel rabbits, I don't think people realize that they're named that because he breeds those rabbits, and that's the name of his home. Like, he specializes in breeding these amazing rabbits. And the reason that he has, like, birds nesting in his hair is because birds are his favorite animal. And they're his favorite animal because of how they sing and how he's, like, devoted to that one. I forget which one of them, actually. I feel kind of bad. But I don't remember her name. He's devoted to that, the one lady. And that's part of why he never fulfilled his quest, is because he was just so taken by the animals that he just wandered off and went feral. But only in the cutest of ways. When I was a kid, I had this Fellowship of the Ring PC game, and it mostly hit, like, locations in the movie. And it was, I don't know, I couldn't tell you how long the game was because I played it when I was a kid, but I was super hyped about that game because it included Tom Bombadil and the tree that, like, trapped, the spoiler alert in the book, that it included the tree that, like, trapped the hobbits when they were first on their journey and all kinds of stuff. And I thought that was amazing because a lot of people leave him out of stuff because they don't see why he's important or relevant to anything. I feel like it's the small details that you get from different media of, like, a fandom, especially with something as big as The Lord of the Rings. There's so much that could be added or could be left out, and it changes so much of the story depending on what you choose to have and not to have. With the Hobbit movies, I really liked how they included the stone giants that were playing basically sports in that storm. Out of everything I expected the Hobbit series to have, I really didn't know if they were going to do that. And it makes the world seem a lot more, like, broad and mysterious when you realize that there's just huge hulking stone creatures around. You may or may not ever walk on top of one. Okay. Here we go. Do not retangle yourself, please. Okay. Bloop. Bloop. Flip. Like a pancake. We've actually gotten so far into this project that I think that the main thing that I need to do next time is like mostly just make and attach the ears, if I'm completely honest. This whole project worked up faster than I remembered them doing, which I think is really good. It's always fun to like get most of something done in a sitting. It's very satisfying. Oh. If I don't retangle all my yarns right before. Hopefully making the ears will go as smoothly as this, because I've never done that before. I'm probably going to look up a couple of videos and maybe some written tutorials and figure out like if I just want to use one yarn or if I want to make a weird attempt at doing multiple types. I probably won't do multiple types of yarn, honestly, but we'll see how it works out. I'm also not sure which yarn I'll do with that. Maybe I'll use the velvet for little white kitty ears. I think that could be really cute. I will probably do either the velvet or, if not that, the wool. And ultimately that's going to come down to like whichever methods I like the most, the common type of yarn between them, if it's bulkier or not. I will oh, another yarn ball fell behind the desk. I can get that in a minute. It'll be okay. Yeah, I think either of the chunkier ones would probably be the best way. Ooh, or I could do wool with a velvet edge, yeah. That could be really neat. I'm more worried about making the attachment look even on top of it, which I'll probably just use like some safety pins or something to mark the spots that I want to use, but I'm not used to attaching things like this, so it might be a bit of a learning process for everybody, to be completely honest. Oh gosh, the dog is coughing in the hallway. I told that bitch to go drink some water, but she doesn't listen to me. Yeah, learning together. Or failing together, you know. Which, failing is still learning. The best part about her coughing is I don't always know if it's because she's thirsty, if she actually needs to cough, or if she's coughing because nobody's looking at her, because on occasion she has been known to cough for attention as well. And part of it is she is a kind of an old dog, so I'm like, listen, I need you to communicate with me. If you want attention, just walk over. It's fine. And then she'll just stare at me blankly like nothing happened. Oh God, Tinker. That just sounded like an old woman cough. Okay. I think this will be the last row for today. Oof. Don't be tangled. Do not be tangled. Oh. Alrighty. Okay. And since I don't think that this will need to be any, well, I'm gonna put it on my head really quick. Hold on. To kind of feel out what I want to do. Oh yeah, that feels good. Okay. So, where are my scissors? We've got the length and the width that I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip this main tail and tuck it in. I'm gonna tuck all of the tails, but start where up here. Pull this through. Come on. Keep pulling this down the line. I'm glad about how thick this is because I've never had a problem with stuff unraveling before, but the way that the wool, like the natural fiber is, it's kind of grippy. And so I definitely know that nothing touching this wool is going to come undone because it is tightly held. Okay, over here I've got these. I'm going to grab a slightly smaller hook. I'm using a 6. This one is a 5 for the smaller threads, just to kind of make tucking a little bit faster. I was worried because of how thick that wool is to use a smaller one, but ultimately I like to do it this way for simplicity. A lot of people get like their crochet needles. They might just be like a type of embroidery needle, I'm not sure, but people will use needles that just have eyes big enough for their regular yarn, and it helps wrap faster. Those can go over there. Where are my other tables at? I've got, that one's not, just these two, okay. Rainbow one first. And the velvet. Go on. Oh, come on, silly. There we go. Okay. That will probably conclude our part 1. And next time I'm going to be, I'm going to decide which side is the brim, because I've got wool on both sides, and which side of it is the brim, and then I'm going to be connecting the others, like the other side, and it basically will make a hood shape. And then I'm going to make the ears, and I'm going to probably make and attach the ears before I decide if I'm going to surface crochet on it, but there's a good chance that I will also do that as well, just for a bit of flair. So let me see if I have anybody I can raid today. So Greenhouse Gaming, who I have been in raids with Domo, is playing The Binding of Isaac. I don't always make it in to catch her streams, but she has very chill vibes and is super kind, so that is who I'm going to raid today. So, yeah. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I had a lot of fun talking to everybody, and I hope I see you all next week. Click on that. I clicked on raid, so I hope it works.